This is Amadi, the Knockout Queen. We are back here in the next round. I have my co-host, Robert Mercado. What up? Hey. And we are going to, right now we have Mr. Ray Flores with us. Hello, Mr. Flores.
Guys, how are you? It's a pleasure to be on the next round.
Hey, wonderful. Thank you for joining us again. Thank you so much.
It's great to hear your voice.
Oh, not a problem, guys. A lot to get to, especially in the world of boxing, and a lot to look forward to this weekend.
Yes.
I know boxing isn't necessarily prominent this weekend stateside, but Odd Macau, terrific card, but the last week was certainly tremendous as well.
Indeed, indeed. Now, if we can just start asking you, I know you were at the conference with Mayweather and Maidana here in Chicago when they came on Tuesday. How was that?
That was terrific. You know, they are really making a conscientious effort to, go to the big cities. I know that they stopped in New York and Washington on Monday when they came to Chicago here on Tuesday with Chicago and San Antonio. They took a day off yesterday for the ESPYs because Floyd Mayweather was the best male fighter of the year.
Correct.
And then today they had their final stop in Los Angeles. So I love it. I think big fights deserve press tours. And lo and behold, the energy, the excitement was prominent at the Auditorium Theater, I thought. Golden Boy Promotions and Mayweather Promotions, even the Chicago contingency that was helping out set up the press conference, Bernie Marmozan and company really did a nice job to execute it. And a really good crowd for a 1 o'clock press conference here in Chicago during the summer. A lot of energy, obviously the trash talk between Mayweather and Maidana. Floyd went ahead and pretty much stated, hey, listen, why don't you put up your purse and I'll go ahead and, the winner takes all. And then Robert Garcia went after Floyd, stating, why did he not allow Maidana to wear the gloves that he wanted? All that said, guys, it was great for the fans to go and see both of their respective favorite fighter. I know that both signing autographs for a long time before the press conference. So it's just terrific to see fan interaction with these giants in the sport of boxing.
Just terrific just to be there with them, right? And the whole feel and, I wanted to be there myself. We can be there, but at least we got your thoughts on that, and you were able to be there and represent and everything. Well, was there
Absolutely. Well, you know what? It's crazy because this is the third time Floyd has come here to Chicago. He was here in 2007 before the De La Hoya fight. He came in a year ago right before the Canelo fight, and now he's here for the Maidana fight. So I think when it comes to Floyd's big fights, and I think every fight with Floyd's going to be big here on out, especially because he's entering the latter parts of his career. He'll probably have a press tour for the most part with every fight that he has coming up.
Well, yeah, now with the last two after this, there'll be just two more, and so you think he's going to go out with a bang? Now, Robert was saying, he's probably going to go out and riding on a horse.
Well, are you satisfied with the decision that he made to fight Maidana? I mean, are you satisfied with that decision?
You know what, Robert? I was there in Las Vegas after the Mayweather Maidana, the first fight, and the consensus that I got amongst the with Floyd and his people, and even the Maidana people, that this was, and I think right now it's the right fight to make, because from not only from a style standpoint but from a marketing standpoint, I would like to see Floyd fight Keith Thurman, but I don't think Keith is seasoned enough to handle somebody like Floyd. Sean Porter is another kid who is a world champion at 147 that could be an option for Floyd, and it's an easy fight because both are advised by Al Heyman, the powerful advisor that has a lot of prominent world champions in his stable. So down the line, those are easier fights to make, but it almost seemed like Floyd wasn't satisfied with how the fight went down.
So it's probably got nothing to do with money, though, right?
But
this fight's got nothing to do with money,
right? In his mind,
right?
he's such a perfectionist. He didn't beat him convincingly.
I got you.
So this fight is about retribution for him to go out there and embarrass Marcos Maidana.
He wanted to prove that he was the better fighter and that he desered to win. I mean, that everyone can see that he dominates.
Mr. Flores, me and Maria have a little argument going here that she thinks that Mayweather's fighting for the money, and every fight's going to be for the money for the last three fights. I don't think this fight against Maidana's got anything to do with money, like you said. I think it's more like a pride thing, like you said. I mean, he's not fighting for money at this point. Do you think?
Here's the thing: Floyd Mayweather is the highest grossing athlete in the world with no sponsorships.
Right.
And so if he were to fight, let's say he were to fight Amir Khan, he'd still command a massive purse. This fight with Maidana is a personal grudge that Floyd has against himself because of the excellence that he demands on a consistent basis. This is
perfectly said.
People talked about the Jose Luis Castillo fight over 10 years ago, the first fight, saying Castillo deserved the win and this and that. Floyd said, okay, if he deserves the win, I'll give him a rematch. And he embarrassed him. And I think the same is going to apply here on, September 13th, that he's going to go out there and he's going to really show the world that Marcos Maidana doesn't belong in his league.
I can't wait to see it.
Now, what were your thoughts on the Canelo and Lara fight bout last week?
Well, I thought it was a chess match at the highest level, with the exception of the world title not being on the line. But if you are Canelo, and I thought he did enough to win, so let me preface it by saying that.
I thought so too.
But you have to really breathe a sigh of relief if you're Oscar De La Hoya, Canelo's promoter, everyone within Golden Boy, Canelo himself, because I thought he did enough to win. But either way, if you would have had it 115, 113 for Lara, I don't think it's a robbery. It wasn't a robbery either way. 115, 113 either way or a draw, I'd have been fine with it. Now, whatever Levi Martinez saw, I don't know what the heck.
117 to 111 was crazy.
9-3. But if you're Canelo, you wanted a big fight. You wanted a stylistic nightmare. You got it. You passed the test. Never fight Erislandy Lara again.
I agree with you on that one.
I'm serious.
Oh, my goodness.
You should never. I wouldn't allow them in the same state together, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one for sure. It was a great fight. What's funny about it is in the 9th round, they had Lara winning by 1 point still on the Steve Farhood's card.
On the scorecard?
Yeah.
So it was closer than I anticipated.
It was very close because at the end, Lara was jumping up there on the ropes, thought he already had that it was his, that it was his, and he was the winner. But I think everyone was kind of confused at the end as who was the winner, because they took a little bit of time there announcing, and then we're always just waiting.
Well, that one scorecard was so off, it was ridiculous. But Ms. Flores, I wanted to ask you. I seen you tweeting about the Ultimate Fighting. It was amazing last week. I watched it as well. The last fight wasn't the greatest fight in my opinion. Who's up and coming that you would keep your eye on in the UFC? Give me somebody.
Well, a couple guys that are up-and-coming guys. He's been around for a little while, but Uriah Hall is certainly, they were talking about him maybe being the next coming of Anderson Silva. He's somebody you definitely keep your eye out for, because I think he's going to be a force without question. The guy coming up who's fighting on Saturday on UFC Fight Pass, so pretty much, I don't know if you guys are familiar with UFC Fight Pass. What you do, it's pretty much like the WWE Network. What you do is you go to the UFC.com, you go to Fight Pass, and you put in, and you sign up for $10 a month, and they have free cards that are only online. A guy that is in the featherweight division that is coming off of an injury really looked impressive in his first 2 fights with the UFC. Conor McGregor from Ireland. He's fighting in Dublin in his backyard, but this guy fought him. He developed his talent fighting for Cage Warriors, which is the biggest promotion in all of Europe right now. So Conor McGregor is certainly a guy to keep your eyes out. And I know that the middleweight champion, Chris Weidman, is still, people are looking at him, and yes, he is the champion, but I think the best is yet to come when it comes to Chris Weidman. I'm really excited to see
he looks
the next
great.
fight that he has. I think he's grown exponentially. That was a big W that he had over Lyoto Machida back on July 4th. So I'm very impressed by what I saw out of Lyoto, or out of Chris Weidman, to be able to have a war like that, a stylistic nightmare in Lyoto Machida, and stand in the pocket, throw shots, and get the victory.
The guy's definitely a beast, that's for sure. So what do you make with the final with the Edgar fight and the BJ Penn and the Frankie Edgar fight? I was a little disappointed in that. I know it's the third fight, and I know that BJ hasn't won a fight, but I was expecting a little bit more from BJ Penn than what I've seen. I know you're probably getting tired of probably talking about that, but I'm just want your opinion on it, because it didn't look like it was even a fair fight. It looked like BJ had no heart at all. Is that what you've seen, or is it something else?
No, I thought BJ had heart, but here's the thing. In combat sports, it's so brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal in the sense that when you're at a job, or in any job that you're at, for the most part, they'll tell you, hey, you're getting older, your time is coming to an end.
Okay.
In the fight business, as a fighter,
Mm-hmm.
no one tells you that unless you go out there and get physically assaulted.
Okay, got you.
And that's what happened to BJ Penn, and it was sad to see.
It was.
And it was like, my goodness, here's a guy that has accomplished the UFC lightweight champion, the UFC welterweight champion of the world, has had war after war with guys like Matt Hughes and George St. Pierre, and was the king of the mountain at 155. I believe he was the fastest black belt, the fastest American to gain his black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Really?
And for him to go out there and just get smashed and dominated and be not even a shell of his former self was sad. And I'm glad the referee stopped it, because it was only a matter of time before they were going to wave it off, and he didn't have it anymore, and he doesn't. And nothing wrong against him, but it's almost sad to see your former favorite fighters kind of go out in that way.
I mean, it was brutal to watch. I mean, I was expecting more, but like you said, that when your time comes. It's just too bad he didn't have people in his corner to tell him that. But Frankie Edgar still looks amazing. I mean, he looks like a beast.
Frankie is really, Robert. He's showing that, hey, I'm here at 145 and I belong and I want a title shot. And here's a fight that I would like to go ahead and tease. I'd like to see a Chicago kid fight him in Ricardo Lamas. Ricardo Lamas is from here, based in Chicago, picked up a victory back on June 28th, looked impressive in the process over Hakron Diaz. And I'd like to see Frankie Edgar and Ricardo Lamas go at it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Now, Mr. Flores, if I may, Ronda Rousey, she won the award for the best fighter, for SP this year. Do you think that she should have won the award? I mean, compared to all the other fighters. I mean, I know I say yes because she's a woman, but she's, intense and incredible, and she's been doing so many things, dominating. But do you think that maybe one of the other contenders should have won?
No, I don't think so. I think Ronda Rousey, she's a superstar. She is the most pop. And maybe I'm wrong here, guys, but I don't think I am far without question that Ronda Rousey is without a doubt the most popular fighter in the UFC right now.
She is. She's one to watch. I mean, you just can't keep your eyes off the screen when you're watching her. You're just like, oh my gosh.
Mr. Flores, what's the best fight of that night, the last UFC? I mean, is there anything that sticks out in your mind? Maybe.
Well, with the pay-per-view back during July, I believe it was July 4th weekend. I think the Rousey 16-second demolition.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah. How can you not look at that? And I mean, she really is the female Tyson.
Yes.
But in MMA, and she's doing movies. She is, she's a pretty girl, but she can really just lay it on you. She has an attitude. There's a swagger about her.
Right.
How do you not like somebody like that or cheer to see them win or lose? And the same thing with Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather, you either love him or you hate him. For the most part,
well
there is no in between. So.
I actually love him myself.
Yeah, so trust me, I'm a fan.
Well, how can you not be? Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. This might be a stupid question, Mr. Flores, but I'm curious. Do some of these fighters in the Ultimate Fighting, which I know that there's a lot of grappling going on and stuff like that, but do you think that any of these guys got the boxing skills to actually fight, in a pay-per-view event against somebody like a Floyd Mayweather, or does the skills just not match up?
No, I don't think the skills match up because they're just two different entities. And I understand where you're coming from, because there was talk about not Floyd Mayweather, but Roy Jones having a boxing exhibition against Anderson Silva. It's something that Anderson said he wanted. This is before he got injured and he lost to Chris Weidman. But these guys are working on their jiu-jitsu, their wrestling, their cardio. Whereas boxers, they work on cardio, but it's just boxing. And it's just different ways of thinking, guys. Like, your stance is, your striking as an MMA fighter is different than your striking as a boxer. Your footwork is different. Not only that, too, but in MMA you have to worry about knees and kicks and elbows and Muay Thai and kickboxing and stuff. Whereas boxing,
you can get in and out of the pocket. You can stay in the pocket a little bit longer. It's just a different process and strategically, and you don't have to worry about someone coming rearing back and kicking you from 4 or 5 feet out, which is something that Holly Holm does so well, who is now signed to the UFC, who I think, once she gets past her first opponent, is going to be a very difficult challenge for, as we were talking about earlier, Ronda Rousey.
Right. Oh, my goodness. Well, there you have it, folks. Mr. Ray Flores. Thank you so much, Ray. We're going to be going to a commercial break here and a sports update. We always love having you in the show. Oh, my goodness. So much information. You're just the man. And I know you're really, really busy. But thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate it, Mr. Flores. I have a lot more questions for you, by the way.
No, I asked him before I get out of here. Gilberto Ramirez is fighting. He's got a big fight coming up at HBO too, so check that out as well. It should be interesting.
Indeed, we will. Thank you so much. We'll be checking that out. That was Mr. Ray Flores.
Guys. Have a great
Thank you
one.
so much.
You too. Thank you. Take care. All right, make sure to tune in here. We have a break coming up and sports update. Then we're going to be coming back and recapping on what we just talked about, Mr. Ray Flores, again with ESPN 1000. Thanks again so much. Tune in here the next round. This is the Knockout Queen.